Hey guys, so I'm going to teach you how to tune your 3-valve using an HP tuners and overall just make a nice base file for your car to pick up some speed. This is going to be a nice little basic tutorial on how to basically give your car a nice little boost. I'll make other videos further on how to do cams, the manifold, how to make your car pop if you wanted to. But right now let's just start small. Let's start with learning the base. How to create a base file for your car. That is very important. And getting started, before you even unlock your car, before you even use your credits, by the way, you can buy these on Amazon. They come with enough credits to unlock your car if you don't know. But before we even start messing with the tune or reading the tune, let's go over some basics. Some good practices. I would say that you could save yourself a headache and time by simply making sure the car is well maintained. Like, example, new spark plugs, filters, sensors look good, and no check engine lights. Now, why do I say this? Is because there's been times where I tuned a car and I was lied to and told that there was no check engine lights at all. The car ran amazing, it's cool. I sent them out a file, mind you. This car had nothing, just had injectors. It was a manifold, a quarter intake, and headers. Simple, just here's your file. There you go. And of course, with some revisions and all, but I sent him the file and he goes, hey, so my car is doing this, just A, B, C, and D. And I'm just like, so you're telling me your car is unique? Yeah, so he lied to me and yes, O2 sensors just were bad. So his O2 is like upstream to O2 sensors were bad. So the data I was reading is just horrible. His spark plugs were foul, so he had a misfire. And overall, it became my issue. It was my fault that the tune did all that. So if you want to avoid something like that, like the tune being the issue, is make sure the car is, properly maintained and it doesn't have any codes. So when you install the tune and there is a code, it's actually your fault, not because it was already there and you got lied to. So just that is something simple you can do to avoid some issue. So what can you expect out of today? So I'm going to teach you, if you have long tube headers, how to tune that. If you have, if you want like it, so a pedal commander, right? We've all seen them. We all probably got one once in a while. I'm going to show you how to do that in the tune, so you don't have to buy a $260 pedal commander. We will review Spark, how you're going to add some timing that will pick up, that will give you a nice little boost in your car. That's probably what you will feel the most out of all this. I will review how to tune it for a colder intake. I think stock one's perfectly fine, but if you want to go with it, JLT, Steta, and so on, that is fine. I will teach you how to tune that. There's two ways to do it. One is you'll chase your tail using some of the stock tables that you can do it with. It's not impossible, but you'll take forever. The other one's with a wideband and AFR, where you can get accurate data and really dial in your AFR to 5%, and car will run amazing, and you won't be scared to add time in because you know it's running amazing, and your car won't knock, and overall, it will deserve its video on its own. I will do another video on to do the manifold, cams. If you want to make your car pop and shoot flames and stuff like that, we can do that another time. Let's just start with the beginning. So we're gonna go ahead and run into the program right now. Let me move this out of the way. And here we start with your stock file. I've already compared it to the file that I've already tuned this car with, so that's why you see the finished version of it. So we're gonna start here at general. Your CTH sensor, leave it alone, don't touch it. Cylinders, how many do you have? Leave it alone, don't touch it. Engine displacement, you get it. I'm gonna show you the tables that you do need to change and why are you changing it. Because last thing you want to do is to go in here, mess something up, and next thing you know, you blow up your engine. I've seen it happen. But then we go to idle, general idle. And I'm gonna get sidetracked, but I'm gonna make a video on how to do a ghost cam tune on a Gen 1, 2, and 3 Coyote with some of these tables, and it sounds nasty. Like my Gen 2 Mustang that I had, had a ghost cam, and it sounded nasty. And I will teach you. Nobody taught me, and nobody wanted to give me the secrets on how to do it. Fair enough. It is a money business. I'm out of it. I don't care. So your RPM error, leave it alone. Don't touch it. Your RPMs, your transmission-based set points, you can change them if you want to go up a little bit higher. Most people do around 800. If you have a cam, I would boost it up. For creating a base file, leave it alone. Don't touch it. Auto adders, again, leave them alone. Startup, don't touch them. We're doing a nice base file. I promise we'll change stuff. Just stick with me. So airflow, we're not boosted. We're not doing anything crazy. Let's leave it alone. So now let's go to airflow. As you can see, we have some changings here. So your air fuel versus voltage, it is a key component. It is a fundamental table to your tune. Your airflow right here is the diameter of your actual cold air intake. How much airflow is it pushing? Your mass airflow will read this. And as you can see, here's your curve. Key point, we'll get to that in another video, is you want that curve to be perfect. You don't want to see jagged lines. You don't want to see points. You want it to be perfect. And that's when having a wide band is crucial, because you can really dial it up. But again, we're not going to mess with this now. This is just a nice base file. You have a stock cold air intake, and we'll deal with that in another video. So when you're tuning your math, you want to disable all of these right here. These will try to correct your math. And last thing you want to do is to correct something that you're trying to adjust. Because then at this point, like if you're trying to adjust A and the computer keeps pushing A to be where it needs to be, you're going in circles. So you don't want to do that. But again, we'll cover this in another video, because it really deserves its own video. Speed density. If you're boosted, or if you needed to check the driveability, or your manifold volume, if you're changing manifold, and we're sticking to the basics. So let's ignore that now and let's move on. You don't need to do anything to this. Electronic throttle. So this is where we start picking up where we'll get some fun, where you'll see a difference. So your max throttle angle versus your RPM. It is, so base table right here at 800 to 2025, or about like right here. So right here, as you can see, it's scaled. For drivability, just overall or whatnot would be, we're gonna change that to 82 across the board. So if you're launching a car, you want the throttle body to be able to open to the max, which is 82 throttle angle. And if you're asking yourself, why don't we want 100%? Here, do this exercise with me. So this is 0, this is 82, and if we go to 100, we just close the throttle body again. I've gotten this question before. Somebody was looking at their log, because again, there's a tuner. I don't know what I'm doing there. They don't need me, but they have asked, hey, why is my throttle body not going to 100? And I said, yeah, just look at a unit circle. And you told me. But hey, so we're gonna go to next, the pedal position walk. This right here is gonna make a big difference. This is the pedal commander part of it I was talking about earlier. So it will, depending on where your actual pedal, like how far is it, depends on, if you push your foot all the way down, that's technically watt, but there's gonna be a delay. And there's blending that makes it feel smooth. We're gonna cut that delay. So whenever you hit the gas, it goes a lot faster. So we're gonna cut it by half. As you can see, it's 460. We're gonna do 200. And yeah, we're gonna cut it by half. Could you go lower? I've seen people do 150, 160. Yes, but you have to adjust other things, because otherwise the car's just gonna buck. But play with it. If you can go lower and the car is running fine and it likes it, by all means, do what you like. IMRCs. If you have a plate or a different manifold, again, we'll touch into it in another video. You're gonna disable these, and there's also other tables you gotta disable. But if you're not touching them, or you're not doing anything, and you still have your IMRCs, leave it alone. So then we're going to variable camshaft. We're not gonna mess with these. Once we start tuning for a cam, we can get into them. Or if you have a big cam and you have lockouts, then we're gonna need to be able to go in here and change out the maximum. Like if you have a lockout of 20 degrees, then you go in there and your max is now 20 degrees. We'll touch into it in another video when we talk about cams. Let's just learn the basics right now. Exhaust, leave it alone. You're not touching it. You're not doing anything. It's all good. Just move on. Fuel. This is where it gets fun. This is where we can do a lot of changings, and see what how we can do some improvements. Sorry, I just had a quick notification. So let's start with storage. Storage is depending on your ethanol. How much ethanol does your fuel contain? So for example, stock is 14.64. That is pretty safe, pretty good. In America, in America, if you go to the pumps and you see a sticker and it says may contain up to 10%, that is why I was able to change mine to 14.10 or 14.13. Really up to you. Just know that run 93. Once we start doing this aggressive timing, you will just want to run 93. You don't want to. You don't want to run 87 and start getting knocking. It's just bad for your motor. This injector controls. This right here. This all these settings right here are for your injector. If you're gonna upgrade your injector, these need to be changed. Now, you can buy whenever you buy your injectors. They'll come with a table or data, or you can privately message the company to ask for the data. Now, I have over the I guess now you could say years that I've tuned, I collected some data on different injectors that I've used. I have made different templates that I can just go, oh, you have this injector, boom, copy and paste. You have this and this, boom, copy and paste. So down in the description, I will leave a link to a store where you can, not store, but like just a little page where you can buy the templates, my personal templates. I am out of this business. I do not care. And I will give the personal settings and the personal things that I used. You can just go buy it and you can just copy and paste and be done, or you can reach out and find them on your own. I will show you, for example, some of the templates. Let's see, edit, template applicator. We'll move this over here. Let's see, what do we want? Let's go with 42. Cool. So here we go. This is what your template applicator looks like. As you can see, it already has all the tables. You go here, apply changes, you click, boom, everything was changed, nothing failed, close, and voila. It's that easy. All of your data is changed to now where it can handle 42-pound injectors. Super simple. Oxygen sensors. This is right here for this table would be for your if you have long tubes. But we'll get to that. So for closed loop enable, stock is 500. We're gonna bump it up to 750. We want the sensor to be nice and hot, so it gives us really good data. So the delay, well, again, it is right here. This is the stock values. We're gonna set them up to 60 again. Make sure the sensor gets nice and hot. So we got some good data. Like really, we're thinking of this as a Little Caesars pizza. You know, we want it to be nice and ready. I wasn't gonna say the slogan because I'm not trying to get sued. So learning max TPS. Remember when we changed the throttle? Well, this plays into it on how much data does it actually read. It's stock. It's at 100, and I don't think it necessarily gets to it at all. So 40% is nice. Is a nice little parameter where it's plenty. It's plenty of data that's still reading. So duty cycle, we are at, again, stock values. And I just change it all to 90. Again, you want to keep the sensors nice and warm, and you want to make sure that the data is good, okay? So for transport delay, this right here is your long tube settings, or where you would change it for your long tubes. So for example, your stock, if you have stock headers or if you have shorty headers, don't touch this at all. Leave it alone. But if you have long tube headers, I'm going to use my Apple Pencil right here. For example, let's say that this is your stock headers right here, and that your O2 sensors are up here. Boom. Cool. And so we have this data right here corresponds to the sensor being here. Now that you have long tubes, your sensor's here. So now we need to make sure the data reads from here. So we're going to delay it. And as you can see, these are the values. But an easier way to do it, or a nice little trick, you just boom, you come here, you highlight the whole table. It's only on read only. I need to resync the interface. Hold on. Help, resync interface. Close. Boom. It's making me want to close the close convert file. Huh. Let's see. So because now I'm on laptop. Okay, either way, we'll address that later. But so all you're gonna do is you're gonna take this table right here, and you're gonna select the whole thing, and you're gonna multiply by 1.2 or 1.25, depending on what the type of headers you get. Does it really matter? I just stick with 1.2. It's a good average, and it'll work pretty good. And let's see. We're gonna open this one again. Cool. So again, we're just gonna multiply it, and it's all good. And then that's the change that you make for your headers. So now your open loop. So again, your open loop delay. We don't want to delay at all. If it needs to be on, it needs to be on. If it needs to be off, it needs to be off. So go ahead and zero it out. Again, your open loop delay, the maximum. We don't want to delay. So we're gonna put that to 0.5. Your open loop fuel TPS threshold. So this is what it is, stock, right here. We're gonna change the values to smooth it out when you're in the higher RPMs. So you make sure it just becomes more efficient, and overall it's better. So we're gonna go from 5 to 7, we're gonna do 10. From 4, we're gonna do 35, and 3, we're gonna do 40. Good base values. So for fuel base, this is for if you have stock cats still in the car, don't touch this. But if you are catless, which how dare you? I mean, this is an off-road vehicle, of course. We're gonna change these to 8.5. Basically, we're just gonna richen it up. Because you have long tubes, we can make it a little bit more rich. And we also need to match the fuel base when it's cold. So we're just gonna take this row right here and make it 8.5. And now again, if you have stock cats, don't leave them alone. Don't touch them. Leave those values alone. So now we're gonna go to temperature control. So your flange temp control, disable it. You don't need it. Your catalyst protection. If you have cats, I would suggest to leave it on. If you don't have cats, take it off. Your O2 sensor temperature control, take it off. It's just adding more fuel to cool down. So your cutoff. So I will make a separate video on tuning the transmission. The reason I'm not trying to drag this out, but the reason why I'm making a separate video on to drag the transmission is so you truly understand what are you changing and why. How are you achieving that shift point that you want? How is it bumping up? And I would really suggest watching that video so you can get a nice base level, because I will post a video on how to tune a 10-speed transmission, and please be ready to learn, because that is way more complicated on how to make the transmission shift just at an exact point every time, how to do the different modes, how to make it more aggressive. Just a 10-speed transmission is amazing, and you can do so many things with it. The 3-valve is a good starting point to build your way to knowing how to tune something like that. But if you're manual, these are some good settings for you. And if you want to rev higher, if you're automatic, if you want to rev higher, here you go. But just know that if you change these, you're not going to change your shift points per se. We'll get to that again in another video. So first you want to start with your ETC, your base, okay? you want to put this to what stock is 620, 625. So we're gonna put this to 6.7. Now, without a dyno, I don't know what your car is gonna do. So you could rev it out to 7. I don't recommend, but you could rev it out to 7 if it's built and whatnot. But for example, if you're in a dyno and you can rev it out, you can see when the power drops. So one mistake that a lot of people do is to think that, oh, my car, that the higher I can rev my car, the more power I'm making. Yes and no. If your car is built to make more power like that, you can. If it's not, then you're not really doing anything. For example, you could shift to your peak power point could be 6,400, but you're shifting to 6,700. So next thing you know, you notice the car next to you passing you because you're losing power. So without a dyno or without looking at a log or just actually a draggy, having a draggy, you can see the data. You can see if you lost time or if you gained time or if you lost time. So that's another thing. Just change these with precaution. Know that you could possibly be losing power. But your cutoff, if you want to just rev it, your cutoff and neutral cutoff, change them up, rev to the sky with precaution. Again, your engine's not made to spin to 7,000. Be reasonable. Okay, these are some reasonable values right here that you could use. Transient, we're just gonna leave this. We're gonna leave this table alone. We're not gonna touch this. There's not really much. Again, base file. We're gonna leave this alone. Spark. Spark is where your butt dyno is going to feel this. Now, again, this is a 3-valve, but it's also a V8. So there is some power. And I've tuned a 3-valve that beat a Gen 3 manual car. So I don't want to say this about the driver, but if you can shift good and the car's making decent power, the 3-valve is not a bad car. So let's talk about some borderline some of the Spark, some of the Master, pretty sure it's Master. Oh, the Max borderline. Spark, Lambda, some other tables. We're going to talk about these. And so we're going to start with the borderline. Again, borderline is always going to be lower than MBT Spark. It will always be lower. Don't switch them up because then you'll run into some issues. So again, be careful with that. What is this table? So this table is commenting the timing. This is the timing that you want at a certain RPM at a certain load. So depending on where your engine's at, the type of load that's on the car is the type of timing you want. Basically, how much power are we going to put into it? Now your stock tables, if you look right here, from 7 to 8 would be around what you would be running top in. And this is your RPMs right here. This is what you're looking at right here. Your spark. This is the spark you're hoping to achieve. So what you could do is you could bump it up. You could take these and start bumping them up until you start seeing some knock. But again, it also depends on the fuel, or are you boosted. So I'm just gonna give you some good numbers that you can put in there, and you can play around with them and see what works for you. And again, down in the description, I will give the actual template that you can just put that I found some really good power, where the cars have made really good power, no problem. If you don't want to just copy all these values right here, I can just, again, down in the description, get the template, copy and paste it, save yourself some time. Again, I wish I could do that. When I first started, oh my God, I wish I could have found something where I could just copy and paste stuff. But no, you have to go out there and make your own stuff. For good reason. This is a money business industry. So for fuel, we don't want any corrections from Lambda. So the computer, how it's set up now, is set up to correct and just overall just be safe. It will take all type of fuel. It will take, you could put 87, you could put 90, 91, 93, and just the computer's gonna run fine. It's gonna be safe. I'm not saying what we're doing is making it unsafe, but we don't want these corrections to be done, especially if we're targeting a specific spark. So the computer would say, this is okay, this is okay, this is okay. So like, for example, it'll be like 20, let's say that on a watt run we want, not what we want. So on a watt run, let's say that the computer says 20, 21, and 23 is okay, and we will correct through all of these, right? We're saying we want 24 on the dot with no corrections. We want 24. We don't want you to take away. We don't want you to add. So we're going to go ahead on this fuel tables. We're going to zero them out. For your IAT, we're going to go in here and zero all these out. I know there's a 30 there. This is your stock ones. We're going to zero all of these out, even that 30. I don't know why I didn't change that, but we're going to go in there and zero that out. And for your multiplier, so these are your stock multipliers, change that to 1, because again, what is 1 times 1? It's 1. What is 2 times 1? 2. If I know it's simple, but without an explanation, you might not know how that multiplier exactly is working. So just a good example. For your base, we're from 180 to, I would say, 212, zero it out. That's normal operating temperatures. For your VCT, zero these out. I don't care if they're open or they're closed. I don't want any correction. Zero them out. For your RMRZ, again, I don't care. Zero them out, because we are targeting a specific point. And later on, when we look at the logs and we see exactly what's happening, when we start reading logs, you will understand why we want a specific point. And you will be able to look at the table on your log and be like, this is what I commanded, and this is what I got, what's happening. And you can look at the different channels and see what was adding, what was removing. Again, different video. We can get into it later. Right now we're just building a base file. So now we go to the MPT spark. Again, this is going to be higher. This is going to be a higher spark. And we will get into, I'll make a separate video on different types of fuel. Like, for example, 85, 100 octane. Right now we're just doing 93. Just nice pump, okay? Nice pump fuel. So these are the settings, some good settings right here you can use. And again, if you don't want to copy these one by one, link in the description. So again, for your normal borderline, you have your corrections, and for your MPT, you have your corrections. So RMRC, zero them out. We don't want anything interrupting. Open and close, zero them out. We don't want anything interrupting. Your lambda, zero it out. Again, we don't want anything changing what we are targeting. For your idle spark, we're going to go ahead and these are your values right here, 30, 30, 34, 34, 34. We're going to just take all these and drag them and make them 17. If these two are 15, leave them 15. Parking neutral, take all of them, again, 17. So for cylinder pressure, now this would be what I would consider a safety. You don't want to go too high. If you have too much pressure, you're basically going to blow up your engine. This right here will cut that. We have basically puts a cap on your timing. You don't want to go above that or you damage the engine. So we're going to take these values right here and just put them to 63.5. Boom, done. And next we're going to go to retard. So on your log, when we look at this, I will make a whole separate video on actually having the car with me and doing a day log and doing a draggy run before and after, but that'll be a separate video. And I'll do that with Gen 2, Gen 3, and I might touch on LS later, but let's just focus on this. So for your knock retard, knock mode, I was always taught to do per cylinder. Why would you do global? Because if only one cylinder's knocking, just take away from that cylinder. Don't take away from all of it. It's just how I was taught. So for your maximum retard, how much can the motor take? How much do you want the computer to be like, all right, let's just pull this out? I start at 6. 6 is a good average. If you see that the car is not taking much at all and it's running good, then you're good. Like just leave it alone. We'll look at the log and look at that later. So knock advanced limit. How much can they add? 2 is pretty good. Again, your actual spark tables will target this more than your actual knock sensors. So for your knock sensors, right here are these settings, leave them alone. We're not touching that. So for your torque module, with these tables right here, again, we're in a just base table. We'll just leave these alone. Monitoring. So your wheel torque are max because we're now making more power, and you will feel this once you do some of these small changes and put this and load this into your car. You will feel some changes, and you might make more wheel torque and more than what the computer is programmed for, and you will get some errors. So we're going to go ahead and just up this number. That way it doesn't get in the way. So now loss, nothing there. Torque management. Now this is a really good table. So tip and torque rate max right here. As you can see, once we get to this section right here, the lower values here, stock values, they're a lot lower. You will get some errors because again, we will make more. So if it's below this, you'll start getting some resistance, some fight. We're just gonna go ahead and max these out up to whatever the rest of the table is. For your scheduled torque max, again, we are making more than what the computer was programmed for. You will pick up some power, and the computer is not gonna like it. So we're gonna go ahead and just take this table, and again, come here, type in 100, click add, and you will get this. It just basically the cap that it was set on originally, we just bumped it up. That's all we did. So driver demand. Now, this table will give you some. You will feel different. So it'll give you some torque, but I would be careful with how much you add. So you can take these two tables, add 100, and be just fine. Is how much we're demanding from the actual computer. But this is a nice table right here. These are some nice numbers. This is what I think it's where the car feels good but still drives good. And if you're just an all-out racer, this car is not a daily driver, you can play with him, make him more aggressive, but just know if you go too aggressive, the car will start to buck, and overall just not pleasant. So with engine diagnostics here, the only thing I would change right here is I would come in here, and your high, I would change it to 1,200 or 1,000. Just change it to 1,200. Basically, because we're using a wider range of the master flow sensor, and we might reach up a little higher. You don't want it to start reading at a certain point. So we're just gonna change it up and change it a little higher. Misfire, you don't want to mess with anything there. Exhaust, I would leave it alone. Even your catalyst, just leave it alone. So for your DTCs, again, this car or the car that you have, if you added headers and you took out your cats, it is a off-road car that doesn't go on the road. Correct, right? And even though it is a off-road car that doesn't go on the road and follows EPA laws, you want this car, you don't want to check engine light on your race car. Okay? You don't want to be off-road with your buddies and you don't want to see a light there. It's annoying. So you want to be able to come here, you go find your O2 sensors too. Right here, or just whatever codes may correspond. Like if you deleted your evap, because again, race car, what do you need evap, or just some things that you got rid of that you don't need. You can go in here and change the code. So for example, sensor 2, come in here, it says mill light. You just want to just go click here, boom, no error reported. Right? So that is something that you can do for these codes to get rid of them, and they won't appear on your dash. So trans, we're going to leave this here. We're going to leave it alone. And again, I'll make a video on the automatic, because you really want to know why you're changing and what you're doing it. Because the more you can play around with your gear ratios or what shift points you want, the better and the faster your car will be. There's not a one size fits all. There's really not. It's all different. So watch that video, and then you can come back and adjust your cutoff. You can adjust your cutoff, but again, we'll get that into another video. So your fuel system, again, this is base. We're not upgrading it. We're not upgrading the fuel pump. We're leaving all this alone. And if you want to delete your evap, fuel test, here, if you want, again, you gotta go through all these. Right here, this will get rid of some codes. Or actually, it won't run the test, but you gotta go in there and still change the codes. So your fan systems, general, PATs. If you did a swap, you can go ahead and delete these, and it could help with it not wanting to run a safety test. Braking, leave it alone. Fans. So basically, all I did here is lower it. I lowered the values. That way, it kicks on sooner and it keeps the car running a little cooler. Here are the values. So you can go ahead and pause the video, copy them. So AC, I know we all have a buddy. I was that buddy that before a race, when I was out at the track, I would turn off my AC and be like, hold on, I want all the power. And Lord and behold, guess what? Your computer does it for you. The computer shuts off the AC. So stock is at 50, 55. So we're just gonna go ahead and cut that to where it cuts the conditions a lot sooner. Speedo. So your limit on how fast your car can go. Now, if your 3-valve can go 255 miles an hour, hit me up. I wanna see that car. I said 3-valve. I don't mean Coyote swap, like create something crazy, but you want to just go ahead and bump this limiter so the computer doesn't keep you capped there. For your calibration, now, technically all you would have to do if you change your rear gears is just change the ratio. If you change your tire size from what it's running and you see your speedometer a little bit off, then you would need to do a formula for this. You would also need to delete the VID and so on, but just to keep it simple, if you change your gear ratios, just click it here, type it in, boom, you're done. We'll talk about tire size and changing into we'll do something else for that. But with that being said, that's pretty much it for a base file. Again, down in the description are a lot of my templates that I've used. For example, the GLT quarter intake, the Steta quarter intake. One thing I did not touch on is throttle body. So you, just like the injectors, when you change your injectors, you need to change the data for the throttle body. I have some data for the GT500, the Cobra Jet, or the bigger Cobra Jet 1, and also the BBK 1. Again, I would recommend if you're gonna upgrade your throttle body, the 500 is a nice upgrade. Don't go to anything other than like anything crazier unless you have something, unless you have like the Cobra Jet set up for it. But even then, it's been a crazy while since I. Let's see, no, the Cobra Jet Coyote. I've seen some people do some crazy things. You know what? Just keep your if you're gonna upgrade, just go with the 500 one. That's a solid one and a good bang for your buck. Okay. And again, the data for that's done. It's just gonna be one link where I'll give you all the templates that I've created. Now, I do want to go ahead and say this: if you're gonna change, if you're gonna mess this with some of the settings, and you're doing this for somebody's car, do it in your car first. Start out first, play with it, learn. This is all about learning. This is about being able to tune your car by yourself because you don't want to pay somebody else to do it for you, or you want to just learn. If you want to take a crack at it and just go, hey, I got the free time, by all means, this is just a good video to start with the base. The next video we'll get into, The next video we'll get into the math, like tuning your math. I might make a video on. So if this video does really good, I will buy the hot rod cams because I just got a 3-valve daily. I will buy the hot rod cams, I will buy the manifold, and I will tune it for the video, and I will do it before and after the draggy if the video does good, if I see that people are actually wanting to watch this. But other than that, this is how you make a nice base file for your car, and you will feel a difference. Your butt dyno's gonna tell you, we got some power now. And I'll see you in the next video. If you want to know how to do a pop tune for your car or something like that, just leave a comment below. Let me know. If you want something else explained, let me know. On the next video when I do the AFR, I'll touch into it on what questions were asked. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.